And to the big story that we received this morning, another jolt that came in for Vadra Congress as CR Kesavan resigned from the Grand Old Party. We have CR Kesavan joining us this morning. Good morning. Thank you for speaking to us. If I can get a first response to why you were forced to take this step.
I was not forced. It was a decision taken by my own volition and on my own terms. So I am speaking with a lot of responsibility because I've been associated with the party for the last 22 years. So I can fairly say that I understand the trajectory of the party over, a period of time and their attitude and approach towards the political discourse. I mean, any political party needs to have a very well-crafted vision and, to go forward in the narrative. And they need to take up, people-centric issues in a pragmatic way, and provide constructive suggestions so that eventually you win people's support and, their faith. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the attitude and approach of the Congress party over a period of time, leave alone be constructive, it's not even been a concrete, coherent, or even consistent. In many a time, they've been very reactionary and cynical and riddled with contradictions. I'll illustrate it with two examples, which I felt very strongly about. When Draupadi Murmuji's nomination for the president was announced, I mean, I think it should have been ideally welcomed because it was a great, moment of pride for all of us. The first tribal woman, sitting in Rashtrapati Bhavan. And that the Congress party in 2002 had welcomed Vajpayeeji's nomination of Kalamji, and they even supported it. But now, this is what I say, the values have changed for me. Because now what has happened is when Draupadi Murmuji was announced, the senior leaders in the Congress party attacked her, saying Draupadi Murmuji represents an evil philosophy. Somebody said no country should have a president like this. This is simply not done. This is a matter of national pride and should transcend political differences, in my opinion. And the second thing is, on January 23rd, in many instances, the problem is these instances have not become ad hoc. They have become, not an exception to the rule, but become the norm. When on January 23rd, the government announced, the naming of 23 islands, in Paramveer Chakra's name, honor, the awardees' names. I mean, that was an expression of a gratitude towards the jawans who guard our borders and, defend this great nation. But you should have welcomed it. Anybody, regardless of political affiliation, should have welcomed it because it is our way to express our gratitude to these Paramveer Chakras, 21 of them. 14 of them were posthumous, if you remember. But what does, a senior leader in the party do? They question on the same day the surgical strikes and say they demand proof on that same day. I think those are not the systems, the value system, the conviction of faith I'm made of. And these things made me very uncomfortable. Over a period of time, I felt that, I don't feel right being here and I don't belong here, which is why I took this decision.
But if we talk about the recent times, where do you think the party has faltered? In your letter, you've categorically mentioned that you did not take part in the Bharat Jodo Yatra for all of these reasons. If you can throw some light as to, in recent times, where has the party done really wrong? And is it high time that the party really smells the coffee now and does something when it comes to taking firm steps, concrete steps to do that course correction?
Whether the party smells the coffee or the tea is their prerogative, but I've been telling you this is not a single instance. It's been happening over a period of time, which is why I did not participate in the Bharat Jodo Yatra, because I was not in consonance with what the Congress party stood for and what they wanted to propagate. I mean, if it's fine with them, if they have a belief system, it's a democracy, they are comfortable to do it. I felt uncomfortable. I've told you instances of the political discourse, and the attitude of the party towards certain issues. And I felt that this is not in line with my thought process. So I felt that I should not participate. Being in good conscience, I felt that it was not right for me to participate in the Bharat Jodo Yatra, and which is why I did not.
And if we talk about just yesterday, Malik Arjuns made that big statement that Congress would lead that alliance that would come to power in 2024. What do you think that indicates? Does that somewhere indicate that the party somewhere does not have that confidence in Rahul Gandhi to lead that alliance? And why does the party even think that they will have to ally with the party if they intend to come to power in 2024?
I'm out of the Congress party, and I don't think I need to comment on the affairs of the Congress party to be candid. I think any party should work in right earnest to win the trust of the people. And I think the last two elections are a reflection of the magnitude and mandate which the people have given to this government. And I hope, people understand and try to connect with what are real people issues, so that the people can relate to them. And I have nothing specific to say about the Congress party.
And talking specifically about, the surgical strikes, we've seen time and again how these Congress leaders have questioned their jawans, questioned the center. Do you think it's high time that the party takes a firm step when it comes to all those Congress leaders who have time and again questioned our jawans, questioned the center on the surgical strikes?
It's very hurtful, because I think I have always felt, every politician should have voluntary conscription, because none of us know, what it is to take a gun and go and stand and guard our borders. And I think rather than questioning the nature in which these brave jawans, protect and defend our country and us, I think rather than being just grateful and saying thank you, I think it's it doesn't behoove anybody to question the manner in which, or asking for proof. I think it's very unfortunate, especially coming from senior leaders. I think we should just be thankful to them and just say thank you. And if people, about people not learning from the past statements, I think it's totally up to them. And I think, what can I say?
But have you tried to address your grievances? Has someone tried to been able to address your grievances? Have you reached out to the party leadership to Sonia Gandhi?
I have immense respect for Srimati Sonia Gandhi ji, and I've thanked her in my letter for all the responsibility she's entrusted me in government and the party. And I've always written to her. I've expressed myself, and she's been very nice to me and warm, and always my regard and affection for her will continue. But in terms of the party, all of us have expressed ourselves over a period of time, and only when you realize that when you have a different point of view, you express it, but there is no change in the approach and attitude of the party, you need to chart out a new path for yourself, which is precisely what I've done.
And the question that that is on everybody's mind is also, whose Congress is it at the end of the day? Is it Sonia Gandhi? Is it her son? Or is it the new Congress chief, Malik Arjuns?
I joined the Congress party, which played an important role among other organizations to gain independence and freedom for us. So I was in search of that party, and I don't see that party anymore, which is why I've left this party.
And any specific reason why you did not participate in the Bharat Jodo Yatra?
I've reiterated it before that I am not in sync with the attitude, approach, nor the political discourse which is being undertaken by the party, or the position and stand on many issues, which is why I felt conscientiously in good conscience, when I have such a stark difference of opinion, it would not be right for me to participate in the Yatra.
And we are also given to understand that few years back you had said that how there is a north-south divide within the Congress. Do you think that is also one factor that the party needs to address?
Wow, you've done your research. I'm that's impressive, because in 2017, when we were all appearing on TV, there was an issue, and it has been mentioned in one or two books too, about people having an accent. I think it's very ironic, because people talk about inclusion here, but when you talk about the divide between North and South and the accent, the way the South Indian people speak and all that, it's very unfortunate. I think this country is one country, it's one Bharat, it's one nation. I think we're all here so that we can celebrate the differences and strengthen this country. And definitely one of the reasons that was probably the beginning I started distancing myself from the party, and this is a culmination of 4 or 5 years.
A lot of factors, yes. So do you feel that the Congress has probably lost that connect with the people despite that Bharat Jodo Yatra happening? Do you think that would even have an impact among the people, especially when we talk about the 2024 polls in mind?
No, it's good luck with them. They should do whatever they think is right. But the last 2 elections and the mandate, which the government has got, is a clear reflection of whom the people trust and have faith in. So that's all one needs to say about that.
And also, I'm sure you wouldn't want to tell us, spill the beans at this stage, but a lot of speculations are being made at this point. If we can know something about your future plans.
I can be candid. I've written in the letter. I have not spoken to anybody. I have not, spoken to people, and I'm not going to go and join somewhere today. The first thing is, it was very clear that I should not be here. But since you asked me, I'll give you an example. I kind of relate to it like, I love the Ramayana and Mahabharata. There are two figures in the Ramayana and Mahabharata who are very close to my heart. Both were individuals of very strong conviction and ideals, and both were very firm, in their value systems and belief. One was Karna, one was Vibhishan. But the common thing was both of them were on the wrong side when it came to their beliefs and conviction. One, Karna decided to stay with the wrong side, knowing it's the wrong side, but Vibhishan left them and went to the right side. Now I've made the transition of leaving the side, which I think is not appropriate for me. Now, definitely I look forward to go to the right side, and which is going to be the right side, only time will tell.
Okay.
And God willing, I'll find the right place.
And lastly, just one last question before we let you go. If you were to give a piece of advice to Congress to probably get its act together, what would that advice be?
No, I would definitely not do that. I have resigned from the party, and I wish everybody well, and I wish everybody, takes a forward step, without cynicism, in a progressive and, gracious way to work for the people, work for this country, and strengthen this great nation so that, we become a superpower. I mean, I feel that all of us should put a step forward, and we should definitely not be consumed by petty parochial political differences when it comes to common weal and the nation's weal. Because that was one of the reasons I felt that when there were issues overarching politics, when there were issues transcending politics, I don't think you should play politics with that, be it Murmuji's nomination or, honoring our jawans.
All right, we leave it at that. Appreciate you joining us and speaking to
Thank
us,
you.
and all the very best for your future endeavors. So,
Thank you.
CR Kesavan there, former Congress leader, speaking to Republic.